Welcome back. Why are we standing here in this cafe, you ask? I don't really know. Other than because I thought it was kind of cool that we had the light spilling in through the doorway here. That's pretty much the only reason. Yeah, so where to begin? I guess first I will start with this is my local copy of the server. I like to do my testing and things here so I don't break anything, you know. So this is a few months old. Everything's not here, but it's a different one than what I used in the previous ones. I kind of broke that world in an attempt to fix things. No, it wasn't really that. So I guess let's just jump right into the first thing. Actually, I have to find a task that's available someplace. Oh, you know what? There's a smoke detector in here. Okay, so bada boom, bada bing! A cool new GUI. This took me a lot longer than I care to admit to get the layout stuff to work. It's so confusing. Unfortunately, I forgot how I made it work. Fortunately, I can look at the code and see how it works. So there's this cool little thing where if you hit F5 on a form spec, it'll actually highlight every element for you, which is neat until you're trying to hide an element and then people can just hit F5 to find it. But that ignored. This shows the image here. We have the text here. We've got what are these things called? Text areas where you can enter text, buttons, etc., etc., etc. You don't really care about that. The point is that the form spec area is actually something like here-ish to here-ish. So this image is being displayed outside of the form spec, which is why the submit button isn't further down. Because in order to do that, it screwed up the entire thing, and I didn't feel like re-rendering this image out for like the 30th time trying to get this thing to work. It was probably more than 30 times, actually. This little background here was made in Blender using some mesh stuff. You don't really care about that either, though. Only reason I mention that is because the plan is to bring UI improvements to many things. So, for example, if we look at this trash can, boring, am I right? Also, we need a bit of unification going on with some things here, because depending on what you're looking at. Oh wait, this shows 3 as well. Oh, I know what it is. When you're playing a level, you only have 2 inventories, or you have 2 rows, 16 slots. But for some reason, tasks will show you 3 rows of inventory, which you won't have. So that should really be fixed so that it's not goofy. But anyway, back to what we were talking about before I got off on the tangents of the new graphics. I updated some of the information here, mainly information about the sabotage stuff. So there's that. And then the big change is now that you have entries for the unavailable and available task text. So I can have, let me just change this to 5 and 20, which are my minimums. And we're going to call this smoke detector, and we're going to call this one wall art ? And submit. And currently it will be the broken one, so we're going to have to run over here. It doesn't dynamically update that. It'll only update it the next time it breaks. So I just need to get my new battery, run back over here, pop the battery in. It'll be a smoke detector, then we wait some time between 5 and 20 seconds, and it will break. And we'll be good to go. We have XP, we have level, all that stuff, yeah. There we go. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but upper left it now says wall art because it's broken. So yeah. There was a lot of back-end changes required for this. I probably broke some people's things doing this. I wrote an LBM, and the LBM attempts to find nodes that do not currently have an available and unavailable text set. So previously it used a really stupid method, and I don't know why I thought it was a good idea, because it made a lot of problems, where it would take an info text and then it would just append something to the end of it, usually needs repair inside parentheses when it broke. And then when it got repaired, it would just take the info text string and take off the last X amount of letters or characters to put it back to the original info text. Well, the trouble was, if anybody changed what the info text was when the node was broken, then when the node was repaired, it removed that number of digits from the end, characters. Yeah, and it just made a huge mess. So this is a little more, what's the word here? It's a little more foolproof. Maybe, I don't know. But it should be less prone to errors. I think there's been some new artwork. I threw in a picture of a bluegill and some bird, I don't know what it is, and some yellow and pink flowers. I don't know what they are either, but I took some pictures, so I threw them in because why not? Let's see. I feel like there were some new furniture. Oh yeah, I pulled over some of my. Was it really only 2 of them? Oh no, we got. Oh yeah, we do have. Okay, there's plenty of new things to talk about here. Oh, I forgot about that one. Yep, and this. Okay, I think that's all of the new meshes. So let's take a look at these. If you have ever played on my Epic server, you will probably recognize a few of these items. So we have, I think these are slabs. This should be full nodes, so I should be able to place it here. We have a little food prep area. You can't interact with any of these. There's a little jewelry workshop. Whoops. These are just decorative nodes. We have a recycling bin. You can't throw garbage out in it, so it's kind of meh. There's also a outdoor trash can, like you might see outdoors, with some lovely trash in it. Again, you can't interact with these, so you can't throw out trash in them. That's an unfortunate side effect of them not being tasks. There's a woodworking bench, like you might see in a woodworking shop. I have a nice well. I'm actually quite pleased with how this turned out. Now there is a small thing, so it'd be nice to, you know, put a well in a hole in the ground, but yeah, that happens. So I need to work on that yet. But see, if you point at the inside wall here, it still does the same thing. So yeah, basically I just need to figure out a way to make a place above ground. But anyway, we've got a little fabric thing here, and we have a weaving loom. So these were just all added, basically because I was looking for, quick and easy nodes to add, and those models already exist. And I'm just that lazy. So, yeah. The rope box is totally new, and there are some new tasks and revised tasks. So let's look at the rope box first. I don't really have a great place. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. Let me put it on the light. So a rope box, as you might expect, places rope. You can climb said rope. Now, I don't have anything to climb onto, but you can climb it, and get this. If you break a rope, all the ropes below it break. If you break the top one, all of them disappear. And yeah, so the idea is, I guess we could do this. You can use the rope to climb up to a spot. You can sneak into this ledge. I mean, I don't know specifically what point this serves, but obviously you can use it to climb around things. It'll place the rope. I forget what I set it to, or did I? I don't know if there's a maximum height or not. It might just keep going and going and going. I don't recall. I think I put a limit on it. I think it's like 50 nodes, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Yeah. Let's take a look at the revised, and the new. So again, because these are tasks, we can use the configure tool here. You will see that any new tasks placed in the world will have an unavailable and available text already pre-configured. Oh, also, while I'm talking about the configuration screen, it turns out in the past you could enter negative XPs. I have changed that as I discovered that being an issue. Well, it wasn't so much an issue. It didn't cause any errors. I just, I don't think it was ever really supposed to be able to happen. I just didn't realize it could happen. But yeah, so essentially if you put a negative XP in, it'll just set to 0. Maybe should set to 1. I don't know. But that's besides the point. So we have an apple crate. Beautiful apples. We have a carrot crate. Beautiful carrots. You might notice that the crates look identical. Do they actually look identical? I think they do. They should. Because they're identical. This is so way much better than the old things. This is some of the UI refinements again. Now there is no text here to explain what's going on. So, you kind of need to figure things out on your own. But let me just get these timers reset so that they work. Yeah, it looks so much better than the old one did. Fun fact, I don't know if it's actually a fun fact, I created this in Blender as well. I actually used the physics to drop a whole bunch of apples into this bin to get this render so they actually fit into the bin, unlike that old picture of apples I was using, which I wasn't really a huge fan of. Yeah, and then I did the same thing with carrots. So, oh, here's my moldy carrot. So the carrots, I modeled a carrot, I guess, in Blender and ran some physics on it, dropped a couple hundred in here. So they, actually fit into the bin correctly and stuff. It's quite nice. And then I rendered out these tops here, which, and whatever. So the rotten carrot, it'll move around, but it'll disappear then. I did not make this texture change. It will eventually. Oh, there's my rotten apple. But it currently doesn't. So there's no visual indicator that one of them has rotten stuff in it, but there will be eventually. I'm hoping to get a carrot that's buried here. Okay, here we go. So what I did, because this was a render I was creating, I could split it into layers. So this is actually 3 images here. There's the background, which is the crate and the carrots. Then there is the image button, which is the moldy carrot. And then there's an overlay image, which is just some of the carrots. I kind of did a slice on the Z so I could occlude the carrots underneath some other carrots so that it's always not just outright in front. Let's see, so the apple here is a little bit hidden. There we go. It's quite hidden. It does still work to click wherever it would be. You don't have to specifically click on it. So yeah, there are plans for more fruit crates as well, because the whole system is pretty much the exact same thing. I could really just register all of these with a quick function. I don't, but I could. So I'm planning on doing like turnips and oranges and maybe like limes and just all kinds of different fruits, which will be really easy because I literally just have to model a quick fruit, make a quick texture for it, run some physics on it, and then do 3 renders, and it's a-okay good. So that's fun. New task is the beehive. So this is fun. So we have a beehive. The texture here, maybe if your beehive looks like this, you might have issues. I mean, as they age, they're going to turn color. My beehives aren't old enough yet that I really know if this is an issue or not. So let's just pretend that it's safe for your bees to be in a beehive that looks like this. But the beehive, we have a beehive or a distressed beehive. I'm going to change the time on this as well, just for demonstration purposes. So hey, big surprise here, I rendered this in Blender as well, so using actually the same wood textures I used on those. The honeycomb thing here, this was actually quite fun to create. I used additional primitives or something to make the hexagon shapes here. I don't know what that's actually called. I should. The wax. Why can't I think of what that's called? There's a name for that and I can't think of it. Anyway, whatever it's called, I used that to do that. And then all of these little puddles of honey, yes, those are the technical terms, are just hexagons that I made a whole bunch of duplicates of, applied some randomization by the compositor, or the shader, I guess, shading nodes, whatever, to get some different colors here, and do a little bit of shading around it. That's actually not real shading. And if this would, there we go, get distressed, you will discover a very fun task with no explanation as to what you're doing. So you'll see we have 3 bugs moving around. And if we click on a bug, and if we have chat showing, it'll tell me, careful, you just killed a honeybee. Because I'm so stupid that I'm clicking on a honeybee. So after you do that a few times, you should realize, it's telling me I just killed a honeybee and the beehive's still distressed. Maybe I should click the wasp. Hey, and now I get a nice chat message saying, nice going, the queen thanks you. And hey, it's not a distressed beehive anymore because the wasp that was stealing the honey has been terminated. So, yeah, there's that. That's fun. I've been trying to add some more tasks that are... Well, let's just pull up the tasks tab here. If you look at this, you'll kind of notice we have 2 science fiction kind of things. We have a radio dish, which is more modern era. Printing press, that kind of works for whenever. Microscope kind of works for whenever. Power transformer, that's only kind of modern. Force field generator, that's kind of modern. Smoke detector, that's kind of modern. We only had the apple crate, which that works for whenever. The little button thing here, which that really should be redone. It's so messed up. That also kind of only works for modern things. So all we had for if you were building like a medieval era thing was a wood pile. I mean, I guess the matching game works whenever, but nobody does that as a task because it takes too long. And you had the apple crate. Well, and I suppose the trash. Trash you could use for whenever. So I wanted to add more tasks in that were more suitable for low-tech type maps. So those hence the beehive and the carrot crate. And there will be more food crates coming. There's a fun new feature. Let me go demonstrate this. I also fixed World Edit thanks to Dirk for reporting the error in that. It would crash the server. But we have a report thing now. So I don't know why this thing you need to select a reason. It shouldn't be saying that because I'm selecting a reason. Something's broke here. Oh well, anyways, I'm just gonna throw some further details in. It's optional, so I don't actually have to. You only can get this if you are a builder. I will submit it. And hey, I have some mail, a new message from system saying that I reported something. So if I go to a mailbox, I can see a new mail. And I can see that this mail was sent to the admin, which is me, to what's-his-face, which actually it wasn't set to what's-his-face because this is local, so he can't see this. And to single player, which is me also. So when you report a level, you get a message of your own report. The admin gets a message, and then the person that built the level gets a message. So here it tells you that I reported that Ambium, wow, why can't I talk? Ambium is incomplete. And I left some super helpful information about what's incomplete about it. And then there's a little automated message, please do not respond. If you try to respond, I actually don't know what will happen. I think it'll just go into the ether. Yeah, because there is no user named system. I guess if I replied all, though, this would go to what's-his-face. I don't know what just happened there. What's-his-face. Wow. Yes, I'm an excellent typist. Now, of course, I also can't tell that that went to him because I can't see that. But be that as it may, you could, I suppose, use the reply all. if for some reason you wanted to do that. Now, what is the actual point of that? Currently, not a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know why it's saying this. I have a reason selected, and that's working. So I don't know what the chat message is for. Eventually, the plan is to like log the reports in a fashion other than just using the mail system, so that if the same level's been reported enough times for the same thing, that it can be made unplayable, essentially. So it'd be like a user moderation type thing. The trouble is you don't want to allow that to be... That's weird. You don't want it to be where just one person can log in and report a bunch of levels and make the levels unplayable. So I have to figure all of that out. There was a crash previously. This fixes the crash. If the level... This one should work, but probably because it's running locally is probably why it doesn't work. Let me try that again. Well, this one makes sense. Any red buttons should just give you the message saying you can't report it. And any of these should allow you to report it. The reason I had to add that is because I didn't feel like making the report button only show on specific buttons, because it uses the same form spec whether the button is green or red. So I still can't, but that's fine. That just means on the back end there's something that isn't right. Now if I actually just do this, that updates the database, and now... Whoa, that's supposed to work. Map ID. Save it, submit it, report it. It should let me report it now. I had to add some new stuff in, and it works on the server, okay? It just isn't working here because reasons. I don't know what the reasons are. Is there anything else that I need to mention before? I think I may have possibly added some different... No, I think I already mentioned the new clothes in one of the previous videos. Oh, there's some new lights! I forgot about this. Going in the same vein as the new tasks, trying to make things more low-tech that would fit into more low-tech things. Duh. We have a beautiful candlestick, which is extremely bright. I should probably make that not quite as bright. And we have tiki torches. Tiki torches. So now we can have little walkways lit by tiki torches. Is very nice, very nice. I think that's all of the new stuff then. I mentioned that... Did I mention that World Edit was fixed? Yeah, because I mentioned Dirk reported it. It was a weird thing. It had something to do with the new release of Mindtest and changes to the serialization and deserialization. But it does work now. Here's the proof. I copied these two trees and chunk of sidewalk from right here. So yes, it does work. This red thing, I'm sure somebody's going to ask about it. This is just a testing node. I was just playing around with some things to figure out what I could do with form specs. And yeah, I figured this out. So this is actually like the parent, I guess, of the beehive. Basically, this again is an image button, is what this is. And I'm just running Mindtest show form spec in a Mindtest after function. So every, I think, quarter second, it re-shows the form spec. And when it re-shows the form spec, it sends a new... Well, actually, it takes the X and Y value of the image button and adds a random number to both of those numbers to change where it's at. And then it does a math min and math max to make sure it doesn't go outside of the form spec bounds. And yeah, you basically get this thing that moves around, which is great when it's something that doesn't have a up or down, or, you know, front to back, whatever you want to call it. The bugs, you know, because wasps just walk sideways and they don't, rotate around at all and stuff. But I don't think I have the option to adjust rotation granularly at all. I think it's only in 90-degree increments, and it would just be way too much work to try to figure out, hey, the wasp is moving sideways when every quarter second here it's getting a new x and y value either added or subtracted. It's always an addition, but it could be a negative amount that's being added, which makes it subtraction. So yeah, basically they just move funky and deal with it pretty much. You might notice that sometimes they kind of get stuck to an edge. That's just because it's trying to add in this case, a negative value, and it can't go further that way, so it just stays there till it adds a positive value and goes this way. I may at some point add more bees just to make it, harder, but I don't know. I have no idea how this works on mobile, by the way. So tough luck if you're playing on mobile and you can't click on a moving button, I guess. You're just screwed. I don't know what to tell you. Don't play on mobile, I guess. I think that's the lot of it. I don't think there's been anything else changed. I'm trying to think, what else would I have? I know there was a lot of back-end stuff with the tasks. Just going through, changing all of those. There were some functions I was using that I had thought I made generic, but they weren't as generic as I thought I made them. Yeah, if you're really that interested, look at the code changes on Not a Bug. But yeah, I made some back-end changes to the tasks here to hopefully make them a little more streamlined and just better all around. And I think that's it. Pretty sure that is it for any of the new changes. As far as I know, that's it. So thanks for watching. If you want to play, the server information I believe is down in the video description. If it's not, it's definitely over on my website, which is linked in the video description. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time, and I will see you then.